In this video, I'm going to explain how you can become super powerful in Destiny Rising, explaining all of the details about how to upgrade your gear, because it gets really complicated. There are so many different things to upgrade, and how to upgrade them and what to upgrade can be a little bit confusing. So let's break it down first on the overview page and weapons. There's a lot to go into when it comes to weapons and their potential full power. So you have different rarity types, right? You have rare, you have the purple rarity, you have mythics, and then you have exotics. Now, that doesn't necessarily determine how good a weapon is, but it's definitely going to help. And in the late game, you definitely want to farm mythics. You're going to get the most sort of, at least early game potential farming mythics. Now, why would you want to keep farming mythics? Well, that's because every time you get a mythic, you get a random roll of traits. So you can keep trying to farm the same mythic item. For example, this drops in Gauntlet mode. It drops when you win the Duelist card game. It even drops when you win Sparrow Racing. There's a lot of easy ways to get it. And if you want to know how, you can click Archives and then click Source. And it tells you exactly all of the different ways you can get it. So every time you get, say, a weapon like this, it will get 2 randomly drawn traits, as well as having some base traits that are always the same. Now, depending on what build you want to go for, you might want to try and keep grinding that piece of gear until you get traits that work well. For example, for me, I'd really like to get Subsistence, where defeating targets reloads 25% of the magazine from reserves. So in this case, I'd have to keep reloading. It's going to be really good for PvE. There's a lot of other really good perks to go for as well. And every time you get a gun, it's going to re-roll with different perks. And you cannot roll the perks on that weapon again. Like, it's stuck on that weapon forever. So the first way to get better gear in this game is to try and grind a few pieces of gear until you feel like you've got perks that match your playstyle, whether you're doing PvP, PvE, or specific content types. Now, once you found the gear, the weapon that you like and the traits that you like, you can then take it further with mods. Now, this is where things get a little bit difficult because mods can upgrade different stats, and these mods can also then be upgraded. For example, if I go here, I've got an epic rarity mod. It has different stats here, increases my solar weapon damage, my accuracy, and my sight zoom. And as I level up, I can keep upgrading this. But once I put a mod on a weapon, I can't take it off. Now, there's something important to note about this, which you can't take off that weapon mod. You can put other weapon mods on and then swap between them. So, for example, I've put 2 magazine mods on this gun right here. They are now tied to that gun forever. So whilst you can't take it off a gun, you can put multiple of the same mod on and swap between them. So early game, you could put on a rare mod on a gun and then later put on an epic or a legendary mod, and you'd have to worry that either of those are going to get deleted. It's just that once you tie a mod to a gun, it's never coming off that gun. So how do you even get mods? Well, the number one way to get mods at the moment, they will drop as you're in later stages of the game and level cap's been increased. But right now, the main way to get weapon mods, if we click on it, we can see front lines. Basically, if you want to go for strikes, you're only going to get rare weapon mods until the level cap has been increased. So if you want to get the best weapon mods as of now, epic rarity, it's going to be through these front lines missions, right? And to do those, you'll need to be progressed through the campaign enough to be on the Red Sea Rift area. Now, to take part in these front lines to get weapon mods, as you can see, we can get epic rarity weapon mods here. You're going to need these keys. Now, these are the weekly rewards for doing your bounties. So you can only get 6 keys per week, and that's going to be the most efficient way to get higher tier mods, right? So you're going to farm front lines to get mods. You're going to farm different areas of content to get the weapon itself. And then you can combine the traits and mods in a way that you see fit. So, it's going to take a little bit of time, but adding just any mods is definitely going to help out. And you can also upgrade these mods as well. Now, to get this resource, you can either dismantle mods that you don't want or take part in the Mogren's Prey event. So basically, every single resource type in this game is usually farmable in a different game mode, and you can use this source tool here to know exactly where it will be. Another element to weapon mods that's really important that basically ties into the traits, each mod will actually have a specific weapon perk level. For example, this one is level 1. This one is level 3. Whatever weapon perk level you have on your mod, the attachment, will boost the level of the randomly rolled traits that we talked about earlier. So for example, I've just put on this magazine that has a level 3. So that's going to make my trait level 3 even more powerful. Whereas this one is level 1 right now, which isn't great. If I put this one on, it will go to level 2. So, you know, that's great. There's not only rolls of stats on these things, but also rolls on what perk level they can get. So for weapons, we've got the traits, and then we've got the mods, okay? And you can upgrade the mods, you can get different rarity mods, and each time, just like with the weapon, when you get a mod, it will have a random attribute. It can be handling, recall, draw time. With a legendary, it can have magazine cap, rate of fire increase, reduced reload time, and each of these stats will have a random roll. So you could have as low as 1.5% or as high as 15%. So you want to try, like if you're going for the best gear, you want to try and roll the best possible mods you can, which is going to take a lot of farming, right? And exotics can also have a random perk as well. So late game, you know, you can farm exotic mods and you can take a weapon that just looks like a basic assault rifle into something really, really powerful, right? Now, obviously, there's all the normal gear leveling as well and enhancing. That'll improve the power over time too. So step 1 with weapons, you unlock the weapon, right? You farm it. Usually, like I say, if you want to get a mythic, they're pretty widely available in the game. Actually, quite easy to farm each and every day. Once you got your mythic and you got some traits you want, you then go and farm the mods, equip it, upgrade those mods if you like the mods. Don't put too many resources into upgrading mods that aren't looking too great. Right? Early game, just slap on some rare mods until you've got some better ones which you can put on later on. And then we move on to other parts of improving your character's gear. So we've got the weapons, and now we're going to take a look at the artifacts. Now, this is another way to upgrade your passive potential from your character, and there's a lot of theory crafting and build crafting to go into here. So there are 4 different slots for artifacts that provide passive bonuses or extra stats to your characters. Now, what's interesting about each of these 4 artifacts is they have a stat effect. So this is down here, the normal effect. For example, the inverted guard artifact has gain 31.5% shield when health falls below 17.5%. That stat is always the same for that artifact type. For example, if I find another one, it's the same. We can see the set effect here is the same. But just like everything else in this game, you also get random rolls. As you can see here, I've got random rolls for overshield bonus and elemental resistance. Now, you're going to have to really think carefully about what kind of artifact, and I'll explain how to get artifacts in a second, what kind of artifacts you want to build out based on what kind of build you want to do. Do you want to do a lot of ability damage and reduce your cooldowns? Do you want to be tankier? Do you want to do more weapon damage? As an example, I've built out a build that is going to allow me to do more weapon damage with a little bit of fun theory crafting here, right? So obviously, if we take a look at Wolf's passive ability, he gets an overshield when his bar fills up and he uses his Wolf Strike ability. So when he basically engages in a fight, he gets an overshield. So you can always guarantee yourself an overshield with Wolf. So what I've done, I've gone with 2 things here that get me bonus damage whenever I access an overshield. Whenever an overshield is added to my character, I get bonus weapon damage, right? I've got 2 here. Another one here, bonus damage equal to overshield divided by max health up to a max of 8.75%. To take that even further, I've got the random roll of weapon enhancement here. So extra primary weapon damage. Once again, another weapon enhancement here. These aren't the best rolls in the game, right? We could get higher attribute value. We could get legendary or mythic artifacts. But for now, this is good. I've got stacking damage improvements to my primary weapon. I've got stats that improve my weapon damage whenever I gain an overshield, which I passively do as Wolf. And then we've also got extra abilities here with these artifacts that give me even more overshield. So gain an overshield when shield is broken. Gain shield when health falls below 75%. This one doesn't give me an overshield, but I've got a roll here that does give me extra overshield. So basically, through different artifacts and artifact random rolls, I'm getting a large overshield bonus frequently, and I'll get large damage increases whenever I get an overshield. So that works really well. I've built myself a damage-based a weapon-based build, right? I'm focusing on just using my gun. I like using my abilities, of course, but I want to do more damage with my gun. And this is the build that's allowed me to do that. So if you just throw in a bunch of random guns and just keep clicking upgrade and upgrade, you're not necessarily going to build out the best stats. You got to be careful and think about what these passive things are doing across your weapon traits, your weapon mods, and your artifacts. These are the main ways to improve your power. Now, how do we get artifacts? Well, just like everything else in the game, we can click down to here and see the sources option. Now, the most efficient way to farm artifacts is in the Singularity Chaos mode. This is a roguelike solo dungeon run mode where you go through waves and waves of enemies. Once you complete 3 waves, you get a reward box. Now, what's really interesting is you can set your challenger's wish here. You can set which artifacts, right, that you like the most. And these are going to have a much higher chance of dropping. Now, make sure that you're careful at the end of, I'll show this on screen now, when you get your rewards, you will see which reward bins have legendary artifacts in and which have epic. If it's glowing golden, you've got a legendary artifact in there. If it's glowing purple, it's only a mythic. So, or rare, epic, whatever the purple rarity is, I can't remember. But that means if you see a legendary drop, you can then do double or even boost your rewards with your pinnacle rewards to get even more legendary drops. So you can double up your loot here when you get a good drop. That's going to increase your chance of getting higher rarity artifacts. So far, we've had a look at the weapons. We've had a look at artifacts. And that's going to play a big part in improving your power. Obviously, there's still other stuff to go into. We do have the talent tree. Now, what's really interesting about this is basically you get rewarded for re-rolling the same character in draws, okay? So this is going to make a massive impact in your overall character's performance because it's going to give you extra radius, it's going to give you extra damage. Like this here, 50% increased damage. Charge time is reduced. The duration is increased. These are huge buffs that are going to improve your stats significantly. Now, here's a little bit of a secret. Wolf is the only character that you can farm these things just by playing the game, right? Wolf will be able to max out just by playing through the primary quests. It will take a lot of grinding, but once you've done it, you will have one of the most powerful characters you can get very easily. All of the other characters, you're going to need to roll these, which come through draws, right? That's a high rarity character here. This one, once again, draws. So you're not going to be able to max out these characters guaranteed. Wolf is the easiest character to max out because they give you the free rerolls just by playing the game. Everything else you're going to have to luck out on, right? So build Wolf first if you want a really good endgame character. Is going to make a massive difference. Of course, we can upgrade our abilities as well, and this is very easy to do. It will just come, you just basically click the button when you're high enough level. So those are basically the main ways to upgrade your items past the typical stuff like just upgrading your gear level, enhancing it, right? Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, please consider subscribing, and we'll be doing a lot more content very, very soon. Thanks for watching. See you in the comments.